Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special edition of GM Sports Report. We're going to be doing a UFC 311 breakdown. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to be able to see all of our videos. We're trying to post more on YouTube, and we've been doing just that. So we're going to be doing a UFC 311 breakdown, as I just said. Mason, how excited are you for UFC 311?
I'm very excited. I mean, I was more excited when we recorded the first time when Armand, obviously didn't pull out, which we'll get into. But yeah, I mean, I'm still very excited. There's still a lot of good cards coming or fights coming. But yeah, how are you feeling about it?
Yeah, as you just said, we recorded this about 8 hours ago. And about 1
Yeah,
hour after we were done recording, we got the notification that Armand was pulling out. Obviously, not ideal. So we're back here at 10 o'clock filming this video. And hopefully, no one else pulls out after we're done recording this.
yeah.
All right, let's get things started with the first fight of the main card. We're just going to be going over the main card today. We're not going to be doing any of the prelims or anything like
Cool.
that. So, with that being said, we're going to start with Kevin Holland versus Renier de Ritter. And Mason, I just want to know what your thoughts are on this fight, who you think's going to win, how they're going to win, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so Kevin Holland, he's standing at 26-12 right now, and Reinier de Ritter is at 18-2. Holland has a 2-3 record in the last five. De Ritter has 3-2 record in the last five, losing to Malakin. They're both his only two losses that he's ever had. Um, De Ritter is a jiu-jitsu kind of fighting style, and according to ESPN, Holland is kung fu fighting style. I hope this is a good fight. I know Kevin Holland, he isn't what he really used to be. Um, but I do have De Ritter by winning by submission later in the round. So maybe like, end of two, maybe late three. So I do have him winning by submission.
All right. When I look at this fight, I love Kevin Holland. I think he's a very entertaining fighter. I think this is going to be a close fight, but the one question about Kevin Holland these days is how serious he's taking these fights. It kind of seems like he's just bouncing
Mm,
fight the fight, trying to grab a paycheck, which, I'm not hating on or anything like that. I do think he's an entertainer. But man, you look at that raw potential and you see someone that could have potentially been like a champion at one point.
mm-hmm,
But it just doesn't seem like that seriousness is there. But I still think this is going to be a very fun fight. You look at Kevin Holland; he has the slight striking ability on De Ritter, but it's not that big of a gap. De Ritter can still catch you with his power, and he Kevin Holland has a huge disadvantage on the ground, which I think is what ultimately
mm-hmm.
is going to be De Ritter's advantage to victory is getting this fight on the ground. And if he does that, I have De Ritter winning this fight. As much as a Kevin Holland fan as I am, I do see De Ritter winning this. I do think it's going to be a split decision. I think it'll go the distance.
Okay.
I think Holland's going to have his moments, but I think ultimately the Ritter's going to have that ground control time and he's going to win.
Yeah. I mean, it really just comes down to obviously takedown defense and then on the
Right.
ground defense. So, but yeah, I'm
100%.
really excited for this one.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to slide over to the next fight, which is a new addition as of earlier this
Yeah.
afternoon, which is Jaltine Almeida versus Sergey Spivak. Mason, who do you think is going to win this fight?
So yeah, Almeida is 21-3. Won is 4-1 in the last five, and then Spivak is 17-4. Also won four of the last five. Almeida's fighting style is boxing, so he's more of a stand and bang kind of guy. And then it says Spivak's is Sambo, which is kind of like it's kind of like Islam's, but not as much wrestling to where it's more of a defensive tactic if you're not too familiar with that. So he might not be the aggressor in this fight, so to speak. And so we should be able to see Almeida kind of being the enforcer. I'm not too familiar with either of these fighters, just kind of off of what we've been able to draw up in the past couple hours. But just obviously from what we've seen or heard about them, it should be an interesting fight. But um, just we don't. I don't think I know enough that I'll say Almeida will win in split decision. So yeah.
Yeah, I also don't know too much about these two fighters. I've heard of Almeida a little bit, but I haven't heard of the other guy, Spivak, at all. I hope I'm even pronouncing his name right.
Hmm.
I don't know him
Yeah.
too well. They're both 4-1 in their last five fights. But I'm going with
Yeah,
Almeida in this fight. If you look at the betting odds right now, he's a heavy favorite. He's listed at a
yeah.
minus 450 right now. From the research I've done, Almeida finishes his fights very quickly. He averages a 5 minute and 14-second average fight time, which is pretty
Oh, wow.
impressive. And also, you were talking about how he's a boxer style, but it's shown that he's a very good grappler as well, with an impressive
Mm.
13 wins by submission. So
Oh,
I do
wow.
think that Almeida is going to win this fight, and I do think it's going to come by finish in round two, whether that comes by submission or knockout. I think it can end it either
Yeah,
way. We'll just kind of have to see, but I do think that this is going to be a round two stoppage by Almeida.
cool. Yeah, I wasn't aware about that, I guess wrestling or submission,
Right.
finishes, but yeah, it balances him out a lot more than I anticipated, so that
Yeah.
should be exciting to see too.
Yep. All right, now we're gonna move on to more of the interesting fights, starting with Yuri versus Jamal Hill. Like you were joking about earlier today, saying the battle
Mhm.
of Poetan's sons. Who do you got winning this fight and how?
So yeah, Yuri is 35-1, been in the game for a pretty long time. Got a good amount of experience, and then Jamal Hill is 12-2. You know, both lost to Poetan or Alex Pereira in their last fights. Yuri's 3-2 in the last five, losing both to Pereira. Hill is 4-1 in his last five, also losing to Pereira. All three of those losses from between both of them have been in the title match. So they both kind of have a little what's it called? I guess something to show for themselves to see if they still have it or not. I'm not too huge of a Jamal Hill fan, but from what we have seen, I think Yuri will win, whether that be from split decision or, as you were kind of saying earlier, a knockout. But I'm gonna say that Yuri will win by decision. Just I think it'll be a lot closer of a fight than I guess people will anticipate. But yeah, that's kind of my prediction is Yuri by decision.
Yeah, I look at this fight, and this is the fight to me that's going to have the most fireworks in my eyes, as far as like just stand and bang, power shots being traded, uh,
Hmm.
fighters that are really trying to throw into that knockout punch. Because you look at Yuri and his 30 wins, he has 29 finishes, which is obviously amazing. And then Hill in his 12 wins has 7 finishes. They're both obviously known for their striking ability. So I do think this is going to be a stand and bang. You were kind of talking about this earlier, how you don't see this going to the ground at all. I agree with that 100%. I
Yeah,
do not see
yeah.
this fight going to the ground. Um, like you said, they're both coming off their losses to Alex Pereira. I think they're both going to be fighting for something to prove. And I think with Yuri's experience, and I just feel like Yuri's a more determined person. That's no shot to Jamal Hill. He could be the more determined person, but to
Yeah,
me, it
yeah,
just seems like Yuri's the one that's more locked in for this fight. And I think that
absolutely.
Yuri's going to have a round two knockout here. Like I said, both these fighters are going to
Okay.
be throwing haymakers out the gate. Both known for their
Yeah.
striking. So I think it's going to be a lot of fireworks. I see Yuri ending this in round two.
Yeah, I definitely think that Yuri will be a little bit more aggressive than Jamal, and from what little we've seen of Jamal in our time of really paying attention to UFC, he's kind of always been, I guess, maybe not the enforcer, but kind of he'll kind of stay back. Um, but yeah, we'll see what it is. I like that prediction though.
Yeah, and one more question I have from this fight is, do you
Hmm.
think the winner of this fight should get another shot at Pereira, or do you think there should be another fighter involved, another fight down the line before Pereira? What do you think should happen after the winner of this fight?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna do the same prediction that I guess that I said earlier, just to not switch too much up. I'm gonna say yes that they should. I guess really they don't really. Pereira doesn't have too many other options as far than these guys, and obviously someone else that uh I guess he'll have for the title match. But it feels like they're kind of working somebody up to be able to finally beat the guy. But I think that they should have these whoever wins this face off against Pereira at some point again.
Yeah, I can see that happening, but what I personally want to see as a UFC fan, I want the winner of this fight to go on and face Khalil Roundtree, because I think Khalil Roundtree is just
Mm,
as deserving for a rematch as any of those other guys
yeah,
are. So I would like
Absolutely.
to see that happen first. I think a Yuri versus Roundtree fight would be very fun to watch for a chance at Pereira. So that's personally what
Yeah.
I want to see as a fan. But I could see, the winner going straight to Pereira again. Although I'm not looking forward to too much of a Yuri versus Pereira round 3. I feel like that rivalry's kind of
Yeah,
ran its
that's true.
course. But we'll see.
Absolutely.
All right, and now we're gonna head to the co-main event, which is Marab versus Umar. This is a fight with a lot of hype behind it. So, Mason, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I mean, we were kind of overly, I guess, making fun of this fight from going from a stand and bang match to, like we said earlier, a WrestleFest. Marab is
Mm,
18-4. Umar is 18-0, undefeated. Both are undefeated in their last five. Umar obviously hasn't lost yet. Um, I don't think that anything is wrong with it being a wrestle match, but it's definitely not going to be the most exciting fight if you're not as much into wrestling. I think it all comes down to who wrestles better and can control the ground. Because as we saw with Marab versus Sean O'Malley, Marab just, he was all about possession time. He just pretty much laid on Sean the whole time. Wasn't really working anything, but he also didn't really have to because Sean is not that big of a wrestler. But here he is against Umar. I think it's a very worthy first title defense. I think Umar will win. Marab just, I think he'll get submitted. I wouldn't say I'm not too sure which rounds, but I think he will get submitted. If it's not early, it'll kind of probably be about 4, end of 4, because you did kind of mention earlier that Marab does have a good gas tank. So, yeah, I'll have Umar winning by submission.
yeah, let's just put it this way: if you're not a fan of watching wrestling, this is probably the fight to either take a nap or go grab a snack from the fridge.
Yeah.
Sort of fight. I don't mind it because I think these guys are two very high quality wrestlers, so it's not going to be like
Mhm.
the O'Malley fight where he's just kind of sitting on top of him because he knows O'Malley can't
Yeah,
do anything
absolutely.
back. Um, Yeah, when I look at this fight, I look at Umar and I just think he's the more complete fighter. I think he has a slight striking advantage on Marab, and I think he's the better wrestler too. So I think with that being said, that Umar's going to win this fight. But everyone picked O'Malley when he was going against Marab, and Marab shocked the world on that one. So who's to say that he won't do it again? And what
Right.
you were just saying, and what I said earlier today, the one thing Marab does
Mhm.
have is a really good gas tank. And this is going to be Umar's first 5-round fight. So if Marab can kind of keep his cardio up, keep his gas tank full, and kind of like wear out Umar, he has a chance there in those later rounds. But like I said, I think Umar's the more clean fighter, the more well-rounded fighter, and
Yeah.
I got Umar winning by a round 4 submission. So it'll be interesting to
Okay.
see how that
Yeah.
plays out.
Yeah, that kinda lines up with what I was kinda saying as well. As long as he doesn't get gassed out, that's really the
Yes.
biggest thing. So that's definitely something to look forward to.
Yeah. All right. And now we're heading to the main event, which is unfortunately not nearly as exciting as what the original plans were. I know a lot of UFC fans are saying the card was too good to be true, and here we are. We got Islam Makhachev versus Renato Moicano, um, fighting on a 1 day notice. Mason, do you think he has any chance beating Islam?
So Islam's 26-1, Moicano, I think, however it's said, is 25-1. Um, I'm just gonna straight up say that Islam's odds are negative 1,500. Um,
Jeez, man, that's
so
crazy.
if you yeah, it caught me by surprise. I knew it was gonna be bad, but I didn't expect it to be that bad. So, if you were wondering, how much this affected, I guess, the card, I'd say it's pretty substantial. I wouldn't say it's detrimental that it ruins the whole card, but I obviously do think Islam will win. I don't think there's any way that he won't because we were kinda, talking about it earlier today that we thought Moicano was gonna lose to Dariush, in his original fight, and to
Hmm.
put him against just a unit and a juggernaut of Islam, who, had probably his best title defense against shoot, help me out here. Last title defense, who'd he fight?
Islam?
Poirier, yeah,
Yeah, Poirier.
Poirier. Obviously that was a great test for him, but this won't be, I think, nearly as close of a match than anything he's ever fought. So I think they're just kind of trying to fill something in, try to get the fans not able to absolutely outrage. So yeah, I mean, Islam will win probably by submission or in round two, if not two, then three. But yeah, it'll be pretty crazy.
Yeah, you look at Moicano, he's on a hot streak right now, and he's known for that
Hmm.
great jab that he has and his powerful kicks, and he is known to be durable. But I mean, you're fighting on 1 day notice against probably the best pound for pound fighter in the UFC at this moment.
Yeah.
So you don't really have much of a chance. It would be absolutely crazy though if somehow, some way he
Oh, the
catches Islam
story.
and ends the fight. It would go down as one of the all-time classic upsets in UFC history. So
Absolutely.
there is that little tiny sliver of like
Yeah.
interest in that aspect of Moicano. But I just don't see that happen. And Islam is such a disciplined fighter. He's looked great. Um, I'd say Poirier is significantly better than Moicano, who Islam just defeated.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see this going well for Moicano. But maybe something crazy will happen. But I think Islam's gonna finish this fight in round two by submission.
Yeah. So, I was kind of looking through fans, I guess, outrages throughout social media, and they're saying that Armand should not have another chance for a title. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't actually know. Is this like I see fans saying that is
I
this
think it's
assuming that
happened
he's done this
before.
before? Okay.
I
Yeah,
think it
because I'm
has
not
happened
I'm not too
before.
familiar with Armin. I'm not gonna lie. I know
Right.
him like I know his highlights and
Right.
everything. I haven't actually watched him uh
Hmm.
before. But yeah, if the fans are saying so, then I feel like a lot of times UFC fans are right about what they're saying.
Or yeah, I kind of think everyone has enough knowledge to kind of
Right.
gel together on where things should go, and for the most part, I'd say they're right. So, I mean, I'd have
Yeah.
to agree as well.
I was looking forward to
It's
this
just
Arman
crazy.
versus Islam second fight though,
Oh,
because that first fight I
absolutely.
was watching the highlights through doing research. It was a pretty entertaining fight, and Arman actually took that fight on short notice, which is pretty impressive. But
Yeah, it's
we're not
ironic
getting
too.
that. Yeah, so unfortunate, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe Moicano can pull his inner Max
I
Holloway
don't
or
know.
something and knock out Islam in the
Yeah,
last round. I highly doubt it, but I don't know. We'll see.
we'll we'll hope for actual match or something, just something,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, something. Just a good fight. Good fight.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up this episode of GM Sports Report. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to be able to see all of our videos. As we said earlier, we're trying to upload more. So just keep an eye out on the channel for upcoming videos. This is Grant and Mason, and we're signing off for now. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you, guys.